Yeah, thank you very much, Arne, for the introduction. And yeah, as you said, welcome to my talk about innovation tailored for academics, in which I want to introduce you to our Academic Innovator Program. The program was already introduced at the last GeoDict Innovation Conference and is running very well. However, I would like, of course, to use the opportunity here again to give you an update on the program and explain more why it is so useful for academics. I will give you a very quick introduction after seeing all the nice talks about GeoDict and so on in the last days. I cut it quite short, so I will just say something a bit about my background. So my name is officially Jens Oliver Schwarz, and I'm currently the team leader of our business development here at Math2Market, but I also have an academic background. So by training, I'm a geologist, and I started with simulations during my time as a PhD student, and then also continued during my postdoc at the University of Mainz. And during that time, I also became a user of GeoDict quite early and used it in my studies. And for that reason, I think I still have a quite good feeling for the needs in academia. But please correct me if you think there's something we are missing. I'm happy to discuss this after the talk, of course. So what do we want to pursue with this program? So what are our aims? So the general idea to install this program was that we want to help speeding up the innovation cycle in academia. We want to intensify the interaction with academia. Okay. We also want to improve our addressing of the needs in academia. And we want also to connect academic and commercial research topics a bit more. And last but not least, is also intended to help to prepare students for the job market. So this was the quick introduction. So for the next part, so the question is, why do we call this program innovative? And what do we mean if we speak about innovation through simulation? So for this, with this slide here, so basically it's all about also digitalization, which is one of the big buzzwords of our time now and is driving a lot of changes in various industries. And digitalization can basically be found everywhere. So it ranges from cloud computing to ChatGPT and further on. And so how does GeoDict fit into that topic? So GeoDict basically is a tool for the digitalization of physical lab experiments by simply simulating them. By this means, the digitalization of material design processes is enabled, and this opens up a lot of advantages. And so we will have a bit of a look at what are the benefits. So on a very abstract level, the usage of simulation to implement your lab experiment saves you time and money and waste. Yeah. So an example would be, for instance, in the oil and gas industry, if you do lab experiments to determine the relative permeability of rock samples, that can easily take a year or more. And if you do this with simulations, sort of the same experiment can be conducted within some days. Money-wise, there are at least actually two ways how this technique saves money. The first is you can make a good or an educated decision much earlier than waiting for the lab experiments. How much money this saves is then very much depending on the use case you have for this situation. And the other part would be then you can save money because you don't have to produce all the physical prototypes, for instance, of a new material that would be required if you want to test them all in a lab experiments. Which is then also connected to the last point, saving of waste. So if you don't have to produce all the prototypes, of course, you also don't have to throw away all these prototypes afterwards, or because you have done them before digitally and only test a few ones. So, but this is quite an abstract example. So what does it look like in a real case? So this is a parameter study that was shown by Mann and Hummel at the previous GeoDict Innovation Conference. And here, with the help of GeoDict, 180 different filter materials were simulated. And the prototypes differed, for instance, in the structure, the length, and curvature of the fibers that were used in these filter materials. And there, only the best 3 prototypes of these 180 simulations then were actually produced and tested in a laboratory. And this digitalization leads to a massive savings in time, cost, and waste. So as you can, as you can see here for the, I'm not good at pointing. Okay, so I just said it like this. So with an educated guess, so I mean the production and testing would amount sort of to 180 days with a lab-based approach, and could be done in 17.5 days with the simulations. The cost then for all this prototype were also amounted here to 360,000 euros, and for the lab-based experiment and with the digital approach, it was 98,000 euros. And in terms of waste, you only produced 3 samples actually in a physical way, in the digital way, and if you would have done it in the physical way, then you would have produced 180 samples. So this is the general savings, but there is sort of a bigger elephant in the room, and this is, I think, at least from my perspective, nobody would ever build these 180 prototypes in real and put them through a lab-based workflow. So I think the really big advantage of this digital workflow is that you can go to such a large type of prototypes and check for the best setups. And the chances that you hit sort of an optimal setup with this large set is much larger than if you just take 10 samples or 10 prototypes, for instance. So this is for me, the really big advantage of the digital workflow we are presenting here or enabling with GeoDict. Apart from this, there are also, of course, other benefits, and we all have seen also nice images that are done with GeoDict during the days, and also videos and so on. And here's also a collection from different examples. So you can really get also nice pictures, videos to sort of sell your science or your product to your management, to customers, and so on. And also you have the chance to get more insights into what is actually happening in your structures or in your samples than with just a lab-based workflow. And last but not least, also GeoDict allows you, as we have seen before, also by using macros to automate things with the GeoPy. And so basically you can apply the entire range of Python coding, and this allows you basically to automate just about everything in GeoDict. So you can easily save a lot of time and manpower by automation of repetitive tasks. And for this, just a small excursus. So we have found here on our selected client slides quite a number of people that use that workflow already, where it is good use. And you can see that is a quite mixture between commercial clients and academic clients. And and this workflow and also the benefits of it, we also want to bring more also into the academic world also via this program. So that would be the idea, what is innovative about this approach. And now I would like to point you out some academic success stories or things that work very well in GeoDict. And for this, I have brought a completely different case study because it was, completely different what we have seen so far, but I like this example. So you here see a case study of development of an artificial eardrum with GeoDict. And the use case is that the patient suffers from a perforation in the tympanic membrane, which results in the hearing loss. And the idea in the project was to regain the hearing by putting a patch on the perforation. And so the challenge is to design a patch that mimics the behavior of the human tympanic membrane. And so they created a patch out of fiber that should have the similar effective stiffness as the human tympanic membrane. And these simulations and the design were done in GeoDict for the macro scale. And once they reached a good fit, then for the effective stiffness, they took these results in the macro scale simulation in ANSYS. And then after this was confirmed, they actually designed and produced the patch and implemented this in a living human. And in the end, the hearing was restored. And so this is, I think, a very nice story also from a different application area. No. So what other advantages do we have with using GeoDict in terms of, especially for the academia? So, I mean, one of the things is that you can save a lot of time and focus on research. So what do we mean by this? So you can avoid time-consuming custom programming by using a well-established, validated, and robust software like GeoDict. And you can automate repetitive tasks with GeoDict to streamline your processes. And another effect you have is that you can ensure the continuity of usage of a reliable, versatile software package with multiple fields of application in your working group. Otherwise, if the software is designed by a PhD student or something, once the PhD student leaves the working group, it often happens that nobody else in the working group is able to handle the software properly, or there's no user guide available or something. Then often the usage of that source code or something is really, really going down. And with GeoDict and all the documentations you have around there, you can really have a constant usage of a software. And for this, I also have a quotation here. So what you just showed me in the last half hour would have taken one of my graduate students a year or longer to develop from the scratch. So this is also an example how much time you can save by using an existing code. The other thing is that you can also, I mean, if you save time, you have also more time to focus on your research, and you can also write more publications and publish results and sort of increase your annual publication rate. And with this, I mean, so you have a precise and reproducible qualitative and quantitative data from simulations, which also helps in the publication process. Like this, you can also strengthen your position within the scientific community and also increase the likelihood that you get further funding also because of the publication rate. And as an example, what all has been done up to now in GeoDict is there's currently 829 scientific publications with GeoDict out, and in 24 alone, there were around 100 publications published with GeoDict. There's also scientific conference presentations, around 260 that are out with GeoDict, and all this can be found on our homepage if you're interested. There we have a showroom, and there you can search for all the publications with GeoDict and also the presentations. And here as an example, there's also some selected publications. So you see also that we also get publications in high impact journals. So there's here Advanced Energy Materials, there's Nature, there's Journal of Membrane Science and others. So the publications are also quite impactful. And last but not least, the other thing is that we think with the software you can very well train your students for success. So meaning the students get trained in using the simulation software as a tool for their research, or especially also for digital material research. You can prepare them for future challenges that will involve digitalization in their professional life after the studies. The other thing is with all the material around GeoDict, like the user manuals, case studies, tutorials, YouTube videos, and so on, it is rather easy to get the students up to speed with the simulation software. And also for the students, it's quite motivating because they can quickly achieve good results in a rather short amount of time. So here we also have a quotation from Ryan Armstrong from Australia. Our students find the software easy to work with, and the solvers are very efficient. So these are the big aims or the carrots for in the academic community. And looking a bit at the current state, so currently we have around 230 academic clients, which you can see is spread all over the world. So from Australia, China, Japan, Indonesia, India, and so on, to Europe, and then also, of course, to North and South America. And so there's a large variety in terms of application areas, but also in terms of geographical location and different needs. So here, just as a very short overview or something, this is just also a selected list of academic clients that we have found over the years. So coming back to the Academic Innovator Program. So now I talked a bit about what we think is innovative and why it is good for in the academic research. So what is the Academic Innovator Program actually around? So the main point is, or the foundation to reach all the goals that I have defined in the beginning is that there are special licenses or an academic innovator license which lay the foundation for these goals. And I want to invite you to join us on that journey to create more academic success stories. And so what are the conditions for these licenses? So the license is a yearly license. In order to limit sort of or take away all restrictions to give you full flexibility in terms of your research project, the license contains all available GeoDict modules. And it is limited for research at universities. And with such a license, the regular lease price would be here close to 58,000 euros, which is not that attractive to universities in the first place. So for these reasons, we thought, okay, so what can we do about it? So we want to give more people the opportunity to use GeoDict in their research and not limit the scope too far. So we introduced some restrictions that enable us to lower the price for this special program. So first limitation is that this only includes basic support. So you all typically have a premium support, so you can have directly contact to our support. We do video conferences, we write sometimes small macros or other things for you. So this is not included in this license. So this is here basic support, which means there's only support via the GeoDict forum that is also available on our homepage. So there's a, oh, that was a bad mistake. I pressed the button too early. So, so yeah, surprise, surprise. So it's a very special price for their program. So it's just 1,999 euros per year for that license. So this is yeah, the offer that is around there. There are some more details or restrictions which I'm listed here. So another point which is important, the structure size is also limited. So you can only, and sort of only, simulate structures with up to 1024 voxels cubed, and parallelization is also only possible with 8 processors at maximum or 1 GPU unit. If you want to have this restriction not, then you have to go back to a regular academic version. So, and how do you get such an innovator program license? So first of all, yeah, please spread the word. Also, if you're not in academia and know someone who might potentially need such a license, and then either you can connect with us over our webpage, which is also given here, or you can also directly contact me for more information about this program and the licenses. And with this, I would like to thank you for your attention.